All right, guys, this is the main event of the evening. I'm super excited for this fight specifically. Jack Hermansson versus Marvin Vettori. This fight has switched, I think like it's been like 25,000 times now. I think Jack Hermansson was originally supposed to fight Hulk Hogan, and then it switched to Randy Savage, but then they found out he died. So then they switched it to, I don't know, Bret Hart, and then he couldn't do it. So then they switched this fight so many times. It's okay, though, because we got a great fight happening now. Jack Hermansson versus Marvin Vettori. Jack coming in at 21-5-0. Marvin Vettori coming in 15-3-1. Now, as everybody else is probably commenting, some people are questioning the fact that Vettori is the slight favorite. Right now, he's sitting at minus 145, and Jack Hermansson sitting at plus 120. I myself don't understand this. Some people think the odds makers have this wrong. Other people think, no, this is perfectly on the spot. I'm going to tell you why the odds makers have this sitting in this fashion. We're going to start with Jack Hermansson's record, and then we're going to go to Marvin Vettori, but this has to do a huge part of why why Vettori is the favorite right now. So Hermansson beat Kelvin Gastelum last, but before that he lost against Jared Cannonier, right? Keep that in mind. Before that, he did great. He won 4 or 5 fights before that, and I think his last loss previous to that was probably Thiago Santos. The problem comes with Cannonier, the Cannonier loss. Because what happened after that fight was Jared Cannonier lost his next fight to Robert Whittaker. Now, why does this matter? Because Jack Hermansson lost against somebody who then lost again, which sort of puts Jack Hermansson on a bit more of a bad look. I know this sounds a little weird, but this is exactly what these odd makers, these are the slight adjustments that the odd makers will look for in a tight race here, or a tight fight like we have right here. Now, the interesting thing about that whole situation is I would love to see Jack Hermansson win here and then fight Robert Whittaker. And I would like to see who wins that fight. I'd predict actually, I don't know who I'd predict. I'd have to kind of review tape and kind of go over everything. But I think that would be an interesting fight as well. So for that fact, I hope Jack Hermansson beats Marvin Vettori here. And I honestly think he will. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so right off the bat, Hermansson has a 3.5-inch reach advantage. He's going to use that to keep Marvin Vettori at a distance. He's going to throw those jabs, maybe feint a bit, leg kicks, whatever he's got to do. He's the more tall, lankier fighter, so he's going to have reach and height either way. This guy has 11 wins by knockout and 6 by submission. So although I know Vettori will push the pace and bring the pressure and is a bit more of a fast-paced fighter, Jack Hermansson is going to be able to keep up with that pace. And then not only is he going to do that, he's going to have the advantage in being able to actually maintain and sustain his energy throughout the fight, whereas Vettori is not going to be able to do that. Vettori being the wider, sort of thicker fighter, I think even though they're roughly the same weight, I think Vettori carries more, if that makes sense. And I have a feeling that that's going to play a factor in Vettori maybe gassing out if this goes on in the later rounds. Vettori's also got to look out for a lot of things, like the submissions. If these guys get into a grappling exchange and suddenly Jack goes to grab a submission, well, now Vettori has no chance but to actually separate himself. And the one thing is that Vettori will probably want to bring this fight to get closer to Jack so that he could throw those power punches and overwhelm Jack. The problem is I don't think Jack gets overwhelmed even when he's being overwhelmed. He just learns how to use his submission game so well in these kinds of fights. And a lot of people think that this is a perfect matchup for Vettori, and I honestly don't think so. I think Hermansson is going to show Vettori that he's got a lot of holes in his game. And I mean, remember, Vettori has gone to a lot of decisions in his recent fights. Hermansson had a decision win against Souza, but that was recently, but between that time, before that time, after that time, he hasn't had a decision win since 2016. And every single one of his wins since that time has all been, the fight hasn't gone the distance. A lot of his wins happen in the first round. It's usually a choke or ground and pound. So in this fight, I would pick Jack Hermansson to win in the first round by TKO, or maybe even a submission. Take your pick. But I wouldn't even pick a method of victory. I would just say Hermansson wins. And honestly, shocked at the odds. Shocked at the odds. Maybe I'm missing something here, but the only thing that I could pinpoint the difference between why Vettori is up and is actually a favorite in the fight is simply because of the Cannonier loss recently for Hermansson. But really, I feel like Hermansson's fought the better fighters. I feel like he's had the better experience. All I could hear about Marvin Vettori is that, he lost by split decision against Israel Adesanya. It doesn't matter. First of all, that was Israel Adesanya in 2018. And second of all, that was still, he lost by split decision. It's not that he was winning the fight, like overly winning the fight. It's just that it was a split decision. I think anybody looking at the fight would agree that Adesanya won. He just didn't win the judges over completely. So really, don't look at that Adesanya fight and tell me that Marvin Vettori has a chance because he almost won against Israel Adesanya. He didn't almost win against Israel Adesanya. So that being said, Jack Hermansson, round one. Let's go round one, choke, just because I've seen that a lot. But I don't like giving methods of victory. So just once again, Jack Hermansson for the win. All right, guys, that's the end of this episode. And man, I'm doing these episodes only audio right now. It's a lot of work. I put a lot of work and effort into it, obviously, as you could see with all the slides and the intro video and all that jazz. This week it was another late week. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm just getting into the groove of things. So hopefully as the episodes progress and things get better and I have more time, I will be able to do full videos or put myself on screen, all that jazz. I do have plans to continue this channel for the long term. So please do me a solid. If you like the content, if you enjoyed my breakdown, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because that also helps me. And I will see you guys next week. We will try to do a recap for next week's video of this week's fights. So that's the plan, is that we start every full video with a recap from the week before, and then we get into the full video. The problem is I'm trying to make these videos not so long. So as we go, I'm going to try to be more brief. I'd like to make them... Oh, my dog kind of just coughed up. As the weeks move forward and I'm able to finesse things more, you'll probably see the videos be roughly 30 to 40 minutes long. And I'd like to keep it that way. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the support. We will catch you next time. I am the MMA Hoodie, and this is my fight predictions for UFC Vegas 16. Peace out.